At this time, I'll call the September 9th, 2021 meeting to order for the Dickinson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, today we do not have any items to add to the agenda, so I would move that we approve the agenda as printed.
I'll second that.
We have the motion and the second. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the September 2nd meeting, also fund expenditures of $454,036.02, wire payment of SD Security for $3,760, and also a payment to John Goff for $2,500, abatements for $78.62, and added tax of $56.94.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion or question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commission comments. Ron?
No comments.
Okay. Craig?
Yeah, just comment on the regional county meeting we had at Clay Center. I thought it was a lot of good information. It was shared among the people who were there. And Jerry County's planning on hosting it next. That's all I have.
And I was in attendance at that meeting also, and regionally what we do with some of the surrounding counties. It was hosted in Clay Center for Clay County at their Historical Society building. Very nice facility, but there were county commissioners from Ottawa County, Saline County, Geary County, and so on. And so we just kind of discussed some of the situations that we're all facing, try to get some ideas on some things that can be done. One of the state legislators, I believe, is it Representative Swanson was there, and she's from the Clay Center area, but just mentioned about how important it was to go ahead and reach out and communicate with the legislators, and we all have things we want to solve and provide good services for, in our instance, counties, but cities and everyone across the state. So that's all I do have a Central Kansas mental health meeting coming up on Monday. And then one tonight is Dickinson County Economic Development. And Craig is going to be attending that. Usually between he or I, one of us show up at that. That's all I have. As far as petitions, we have none. We do have a proclamation. And so I'll go ahead and read that proclamation at this time. And this is a proclamation. Rhonda Dupre had brought this to our attention, but we were glad to receive it. It is a proclamation declaring September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. To the people of Dickinson County, Kansas, greetings. Whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. And whereas the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, known as the DAR, initiated the observance in 1955 when the service organization petitioned the U.S. Congress to dedicate September 17th, 23rd of each year to the commemoration of Constitution Week. Congress adopted the resolution, and on August 2nd, 1956, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed it into public law 915. And whereas the celebration's goals are threefold: to encourage the study of historical events that lead to the framing of the Constitution in September 1787, to remind the public that the Constitution is the basis of America's great heritage and the foundation for its way of life, and to emphasize U.S. citizens' responsibility to protect, defend, and preserve the U.S. Constitution. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord the official recognition to this magnificent document and memorable anniversary, It is the privilege and duty of all Americans to commemorate the 234th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities, by flying American flags and learning about the Constitution, and to take pride in one's community through organized community activities. Now, therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in us as Dickinson County, Kansas Commissioners, we do hereby proclaim September 17th through the 23rd, 2021 as Constitution Week in Dickinson County, and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. Be it so proclaimed this 9th day of September 2021. And I'd go ahead and move that we adopt that proclamation. We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we have this signed by all three commissioners. And as was mentioned in the proclamation, this was initiated by the DAR, the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution. There is a very active DAR membership and group here in Dickinson County. And I think Dee Marshall and April Barker are involved with that, but I believe Dee Marshall, she's a city commissioner. She's also a state regent. So if we'll go ahead, Barb, and make sure that we can get this to Dee and either have it available for her to pick up or so on. And I've got her phone number. And Rhonda, thank you for bringing this to our attention too. We do not have any other proclamations. This is a time for public comments. If there is someone that would want to make a public comment, you can do so now, and would want your name and address. And so we do not have any public comments at this time. So we'll go to our reports of county officers. Brad.
Okay, well, I kind of covered the timeline on the jail project in the work session, but we're looking at the middle of December to be moved back in the courthouse and have everything completed. Hopefully that holds true. As I said, then I think it might work out well with the way things are going to be completed. If you look at that to where it'll give us a little more of an opportunity to not have to do everything in 1 or 2 days as far as moving the whole courthouse in. We'll be able to move so a lot of, if not all of the stuff that's in storage back into the appropriate office and give those offices time to actually start getting things put back in place. So on the project, things are going pretty well. Demo's going much better than I anticipated it would this week. On the back of your sheet, I just shot a picture up there, and that was Tuesday. The top picture is a photograph of the main cell block in the back, looking from the south to north. And you can see, of course, the steel wall with the windows and stuff's all gone. They're running the torches and cutting down the bars. And from what Chancey said earlier, the ceiling and all the bars on the left now are gone as well. And they're working on the individual cells back there. So the way they're going, things will work good. I did get in and get pictures and talk to the demo supervisor. They are going to retain one of the front to one of the cells for us. And I took pictures of the inside of it. So hopefully we can come up with some type of a really cool display for the hallway of the courthouse that shows what the original cells look like in the old court, in the old jail, because they don't make jails like that anymore. I mean, I haven't for several decades. That's a thing of the movies in the past, having cells that are made with bars. Now they're steel walls and concrete walls. And so I think it'll be really neat to historically document what we used to have in the building, what we replaced. The lower picture shows, I just took a quick snapshot of the big courtroom, Judge Sexton's courtroom. As you can see, the walls are all done. The windows are all done. The ceiling grid has been installed, and some of the casework is starting to show up. Over the barricade, or the barrier is all the pews are sitting there, and I know the painters are we start sanding that down and refinishing those pews. We are reusing those for the galley. So that'll start here pretty quick. And as the electricians get all the lights and the HVAC people get the vents in the ceiling and stuff, then the last thing they go in and put the ceiling tile in and then the flooring will go in. And once the flooring's in on the back half, they'll move the pews over and secure them down. Then they'll do the flooring on the front half, and things are moving along. A lot of moving parts. As I said, the painters moved to the basement, working down there this week. We have had some issues with the sump pump down in the basement in the old custodian or boiler room area. Over the years, we've learned that in the window wells, especially outside the appraiser's office, there's window wells in the basement. Those drain into a sump that goes down into the basement and gets pumped from there out into the outside somewhere. So, it has 2 sump pumps, a main and a backup. They both burned out over the weekend. We got that rain and we had a couple inches worth of water in the basement. Fortunately, there's nothing down there to hurt right now, but at some point in the future, we'll be storing stuff down there. So before it's all said and done, we will have 2 new pumps down there and everything will be functioning correctly. So other than that, window vendor's supposed to be back this week to start finishing the windows that they had a couple that were measured wrong. I mentioned that the landscapers are going to be working around the building, especially around the jail on those areas that are done now. So all in all, things are going well. If I had any issues that I would like to see differently, it would be it gets done. Other than that, Lloyd Builders is doing an excellent job. There's been some hiccups that have come up, but one thing I like about them and Tom especially is he addresses them quickly and gets them taken care of. And that's what it's all about. So next week we'll put on the agenda to do a presentation to discuss the ARPA funds and what our recommendation is going to be to you on how to categorize those and spend those. And Janelle's been working on a PowerPoint, and we've talked about that several times. Yesterday, she and I met with Chuck to talk about potential uses for childcare and to the home, lack of viable homes in the county, and what we can do to help support that. So we'll have some ideas on that too. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
Nothing, I don't have anything, thank you.
Okay, under notices and communications, we did get a couple of magazines that were sent to us, and one is the Solutions for Government Technology, and another has to do with AT&T, and it's also with networking. We did receive something from John Teet, and he is, it's in regards to some strategies that you can have in partnerships for retail development. That is something that we have delegated some of that to the Dixon County Economic Development. I know Chuck Scott is working on that, and also has some contractual agreements with some companies that are helping for recruitment. But it sounded like this was a good company. They have done some work in Great Bend successfully. Had another letter here, and this was actually an email, and is just on legislative affairs, and then another one from civic marketing. And so we often receive those solicitations or informational pieces. Is there anything else that anyone would want to bring up?
I wouldn't make a comment, which we didn't talk about, if the child care and housing seems to be the problem of all the counties that we were at the meeting last Tuesday night. And
It's a regional problem.
yeah, and people being hired,
Lack of personnel.
we're not alone in that flight.
That might change now that the federal government's dropped it and it will no longer be coming into the state. I would anticipate in the next 30 days, we might see more people coming out of off the couch needing to go back to work off of unemployment. So.
Well, it's a competitive market out there, and like Craig mentioned, the other county commissioners had mentioned regionally that that's the situation. And of course, we hear that, and it's pretty tough for someone to go out there and build a spec house also, because they have their challenges and no guarantees. And So there's a housing shortage, and it's a little bit of an economic venture for someone to invest in that. But anyway, there is some potential there, and a lot of employers are trying to address that situation and develop partnerships. And I think our community foundation is working on some things to provide some incentives and has things in place. So, okay, anything else? We do not have any resolutions or unfinished business. There's no other business to consider. Is there anything anyone would want to bring up before adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Got the motion and second to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.